and the second you run up, they'll just in the game. So when they get in the
but the up close and personal
is what we're about to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, match number 1 here of day 2 of the Super Weekend, and we are heading into Erangel. Let's get it going. I'm pumped. Man, I'm pumped up today. I'm excited to see some insane action.
When aren't you pumped up? That's the better question.
Baby. Let's go.
When aren't you pumped up? And hey, we love it. We love it. The Jukes hype. Let's get that in the chat as well. So, looking on in. Plane number 1 of the day, starting up here in Zarki. We'll be flying all the way on that west side over Gatka, over Georgia Pool, over Ferry Pier, and then ending on Military Base. So teams like Aerowolf, they're going to be really happy with this flight plan. Looking on over for Angry Men, we know they like to go yes Naya. They're probably going to attempt to do that here.
Yeah, it's a little bit skewed to the side here, but I think it's a pretty fair playing path for all of these squads. So I think we're going to see a really good, clean, and fun match. And one thing I also want to mention is on the topic of TPP and FPP, and of course you in the chat, definitely share your opinions on this, but the big, I think, difference in honesty, now that just kind of came to my head, is endgame. You know, that endgame TPP snaking. That is, like, in my opinion, the most difficult part of competitive PUBG Mobile. I mean, take it off that backpack, just trying to see that slight pixel, hit those shots. Some of the it's so difficult. But at the same time, I mean, just look at how Angry Men have performed so far. I mean, with the amount of points that they have are more than doubled every team from 5th place on down. That's including Bigetron Esports. So I don't think it's, I mean, apparently that much of a problem. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Hey, you want a hot tip though? Endgame, how to get rid of those snakes?
Oh!
Mollies, baby. Mollies. That will win the game. Circle number 1, not too bad. I mean, it's not the best for the players, but as far as us, the commentators and the viewers, I like it. I mean, we got a lot of water in play, so that will limit a lot of the playable terrain for some of these teams. And right off the bat, I already see Konina Power changing up their drop right here as well.
Man, Dave, as soon as you said not too bad, I was about to roast you so hard.
Not too bad for us.
Not too bad for us indeed, because, man, this is a toxic zone. We're going to definitely see a whole bunch of action inside of this circle, especially if that zone still goes over to the water. Look at that beautiful US skin right there. As we can see Black White, he's rocking the revolver right now. He's got that joystick crowbar on his back. And right now, Konina Power just trying to get looted up and figure out where they want to head for this insane circle.
Black White took out the e-brake from Rob Dini's US right there. That's what that is, the joystick. So it looks like Konina Power, all right, so they dropped. They're getting some vehicles. They might actually opt to go to Milta regardless of circle number 1 because they know Milta is going to be free and clear. The only thing is, if these zones, and it's going to be, you know, it's a big what if, of course, but if these zones do favor the military base island, Konina Power, they are going to be scratching their head on this decision.
I mean, this is going to be a really hard rotation back either way. I mean, if they go to Milta and loot up there, they're going to have to go through almost every single squad because, I mean, the driving paths from that location are ridiculous. Every single team is going to have those angles covered dramatically. So we'll have to see kind of like how Konina Power wants to handle this drop. It's going to be really interesting to see.
I mean, there's no turning back. like to add on to your point, there's no turning back. Like, you're committed because Bigetron over there in Farm and then Futbolist in Nova. So you are committing to the fact that you are giving up a okay position in circle number 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them loot Milta and kind of wrap all the way around the north end, assuming that, you know, the runes, the mountain area might be a little safe. We'll have to pay close attention. I'm very curious to see, you know, what the game plan is for Konina Power.
Yeah, not to mention, they got to keep an eye on the clock as well. They're going to have to loot this up really fast if they want to kind of find a good position into this next circle. You can see Zuxi over here from Bigetron, just looting these outskirt buildings. So it looks like Bigetron's going for a little bit of a split loot right now. So far, they haven't encountered any other squad. So far, so good for them. And we'll see how they are planning to take on to this next circle as well. And that's the difficult part. I think every single time you have a first zone where there's about, you know, 40-50% water, it's relatively now like circle number 2. You basically have the amount of spots available left to take. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially as this next zone goes up and we start seeing some, you know, squads get taken out on the rotation in.
and it's going to be very interesting. A lot of these teams, and one thing that kind of popped into my head, Hot Chicks, and I don't know if we're going to see this, but if I was the IGL Futbolist, you know what I'm going to be calling for here? I'm going to be calling for that boat take. I'm going to be in Nova. I'm going to get the loot, and then I'm going to take the boat all the way down there to the south, and maybe even kind of just, you know, throw out that anchor. Go fishing a little bit and just see where that next circle takes us. Because circle number 2, it could most definitely have some water in play still. So that might be a safe play. I mean, Futbolist, they are 3rd to last on the overall championship points leaderboard. So they are definitely looking for that come up.
Hey, maybe that's the ticket. Maybe that's the secret right there. I mean, you love those boat takes, don't you, Dave? I can already see you on a yacht just 24/7 if you could.
Hey, man, the boat tates and the Book of Sanhok, those are my 2 kryptonites.
Apples.
I mean, I dream about that. I dream about boat tates. You know, I'm not going to lie. Boat tates are my favorite thing to see because they're so interesting. And we've seen them in the past, you know, play a big role in a lot of teams getting a solid amount of placement points. So checking on in loops, a lot of teams, no real early game action as of right now, which is kind of surprising for me, all things considered, with this zone.
I just think teams are playing this really, really carefully right now, just trying to be as cautious as possible because especially knowing that, hey, with this first circle being so high in the water, you're going to have to make those rotations very, very carefully. I think that's what we're seeing right now from Abrupt Slayers. Just running, and this 4-car strat, it's become the standard, especially at this high level. You don't want to be all stacked up in one vehicle. And I think, to be honest with you, back to the whole boat tape scenario, I think that's what makes the boats so dangerous, is the fact that if you got a squad in there, oh, hold on. Better all. Catching RRQ on the rotations is what we're talking about earlier. You can just see him with that gyroscope, switching, almost turning sideways completely, but unable to hit those shots onto RRQ. They're looking to go away relatively unscathed for now.
Yeah, and this is exactly, I mean, I love that we get to see this because talking to Coach Vu right before this game started, Coach Vu told me for RRQ, one of their main challenges so far is the rotations. And the reason being is because some teams, they changed up their drop spots occasionally. So they never really know who they might encounter. I am happy that RRQ, they were able to make it on into the safety of the compound right there without losing anything.
Well, they did end up getting one knocked, but they did end up getting that res. But you can just see right now, they're completely pinched between both Klas Digital Athletics and Loops Esports. These are 2 monster squads. So it doesn't look like RRQ is going anywhere for now. At the same time, if either team gets a knock, I really don't see them pushing this. What do you think, Dave?
I mean...
Oh, what?
Ernie, I was just about to say, Coach Vu told me Ernie is feeling it today. Ernie is guaranteeing the chicken dinner and right there with the DP. But back to your point, this is a very challenging push for both Loops and DA because pretty much RRQ right in between them. The thing is, RRQ, they have the cover. So if we do see that knock on the side of RRQ, for example, DA, they try to push down the hill. They're going to be spotted by Loops and vice versa. If Loops get a knockout, DA are going to spot them. So I think it's just more or less, hey, take out a helmet, inflict some damage on their vest for the time being.
Yeah, you saw Solus over there just trying to pop some tires on that bug. And you're right, yeah, if either squad decides to push this, I mean, the other one's just going to be kind of licking their lips, ready to third party it. And we just saw the map. No, we got Nova Esports as well. I mean, this is a stacked area of some insane squads right here. So we'll see how that all plays out. And I think for now, we may, again, as this zone is starting to close, start see some teams possibly get caught out on the rotation. But especially considering where this next circle may go, we may see a little bit of kind of hurry up and waiting for now. Until at least circle number 3, I think that's when the action's really going to start popping off.
I mean, we see Power888, they're already going to be investing in this position in Quarry. I mean, Quarry right in the middle, pretty strong spot. Power888, just to, you know, remind you, Jukes, they qualified by only 4 points to make it to the Super Weekend, and they're just doing great right now. They are right there in the mid-pack. We do have that next zone. There is some water in play. Just to update you on the Konina Power thing, it looks like they have 2 options. They might go for the big brain and wrap around the bridge once again and come in from the south. Or the cleaner option right through farm. The thing is, with the clean option through farm, you never know. Bigetron, they might be gatekeeping them. So there's a lot of variables to really consider on the side of Konina Power.
Absolutely. Bigetron, I think, is one of my favorite spots in all of this zone right here. If I was playing this, that's exactly where I would want my team to be because it's so good. You have an entire open field that you can see anybody that's trying to rotate you, so you can get some big kills and points from that zone. At the same time, though, Konina Power, I think, is a little fortunate that they don't have too many squads grouped up on this side of the map. So if they hurry up, I mean, they may be able to get in here relatively scot-free. But you can just see all these teams, I mean, just piling up here in this center circle.
Looking real quick, Federal are already going to be scouting out. They're still, you know, in a centralized position up here in the uphill of the trees. And I think for the time being, they're just going to maintain their dominance, you know, fan out a little bit, make sure that nobody pushes up here for free without taking some shots, as we do see some teams really close. Oh, Gonzo, yeah, unlucky.
Got hit by the play zone. And I know you guys can't see the map, but I'm looking at it right here, and I don't think I'm going to see the rest of the Konina Power try to go back to possibly get him. We'll have to see how that ends up playing out. So yeah, it looks like Konina Power didn't end up finding too much loot inside of Milta, and that's going to slow down their rotation into this next circle.
We were kind of questioning that decision. You know, we were questioning that decision. And okay, so Gonzo is going to get picked up. Gonzo will get picked up, so that is something to
Black-White. Yeah, it looks like Black-White went all the way over there to go ahead and try and res him, but that's just more damage that they're going to receive from this blue. And it looks like Execute's just trying to figure out the spot that they want to hold here. They looked out up to go for this little compound here inside of Gatka. And right now you can see pretty much every single team. Abrupt Slayers holding this beautiful, beautiful spot. This is a great, great plateau on this side of the map. You control a lot of rotations from here. You can see Leon, yeah, with that 8X SKS popping some shots.
And such a interesting story when we look at Leon as an individual. I mean, this player played in PMPL Americas with Wildcard, if you can recall. Played with them, did not qualify, and then after those qualifiers, went back over to South Asia to IGL, the team, to victory, making them qualify for PMGC. So Leon, very happy with the squad, how it currently is, because you know what Leon told me? The team listens to my calls, and that is the most important thing when you are in IGL. You want the team to trust you, and they have that trust in Leon.
Oh, trust me, I know that for a fact. That is the most difficult thing, I think, when it comes to competitive PUBG Mobile. Regardless, if you're in IGL, if you make a bad call, you want your team to have your back and go through with it. If you do, you have a chance. But if you make a good call and your team is kind of pulled in either direction and hesitate, I mean, at this high level, it's all over. But look at this. Those IGLs are going to have to start making some calls right now because this next circle is going to shift onto the north side. Team Secret, Alpha 7, and Execute are going to be inside there for now. Looks like it's fate. Did end up getting knocked from this member here from Team Secret. And I don't think they're going to push this right now. But they're in their vehicles. They might just decide to take them out right now. Yeah, it looks like they are pushing this. Abrupt Slayers might here for the third party. We're going to see some insane action. Oh, Execute's taking off. They're trying to get away. Oh, Fame Boys getting caught out. What an insane play from Execute. And oh, they are getting punished for it.
Team Secret, no hesitation right there. They got the knock. They all piled up in their vehicles. Immediately just YOLO sending it. It paid off big time as we see Killswitch kind of driving off there in the distance. But Loops making the crash onto one member in the Gatka chopsticks.
Yep, you can just see right here, Loops able to get a couple of kills. And Digital Athletics, they are really hurt, only down to one remaining member. That's going to be Ray Z, just holding it down in that check. Switching it over to this replay right now. And yes, I mean, this is crazy. The second they pulled up, Execute tried to take off, and Team Secret said, where are you going? You ain't going anywhere. Got some really good knocks on them, and I believe it's just Killswitch remaining for Execute.
Team Secret, you could tell they are definitely hungry for that chicken dinner here. Already a couple points underneath their belt. One more member alive for DA in this shed.
Uh-oh.
This could be a huge grenade. Oh. Ah, the ricochet.
That one hurt a little bit too. Carrillo's going to try and throw that nade as well. Razy's got another one cooked up though. Let's see who's going to cook this one the best. That one might look really good. Oh, pieced up Carrillo down to 10% HP. Yeah, he definitely felt that one. As we move on over, Power 888 and Team Secret, they're getting into it. Cosmos jumping on out. You can see TTOP putting in some work. It looks like he is stuck by his lonesome. And TTOP's got that Molotov. Nice. And these are these new mollies, so strong. Yeah, bird, baby, bird. Cosmos feeling the pain right there. And he's going to go down. Klas, Digital Athletics eliminated first here. It's day number 2.
Yeah, and back to the Cosmos, we saw the squad mates. They were in vehicles making the push to provide that support, but I believe the call was made, all right, Cosmos, you're on your own. We just can't afford to push across that valley and potentially get wiped out. And when we look at DA, they had a solo. They had no option, Jukes. They had to take this fight because running out of that shack, they were exposed to Alpha 7 across the way. They had to stand their ground, so I definitely understand why they did what they did.
We'll see where this next circle goes, and it's going to go a little bit far south, right into this Chopsticks area. So Loops, Nova, RRQ, Abrupt Slayers, they're going to be sitting pretty. But Bigetron, a lot of these teams that big squads that have been relatively quiet so far, they're going to have to rotate into this mess, and it's going to be difficult. We'll have to see how they opt to play this one. Right now, still, a lot of squads have been pieced up pretty good. Executes only got Kill Switch remaining. Secret Jin, they all got Kingzo and 2K left as well. And it looks like the remaining teams are going to rock pretty much full squad so far. Blue Bees taking some damage as well. They got 2 knocked. Look at this, 4 Angry Men on the rotation. And this is what I'm talking about, trying to rotate late into this. It's going to be so difficult. End up losing a couple members. But sometimes that's the sacrifice you have to make when it comes to these late game rotations.
Yeah, Futbolist right here on the edge. They were able to get a knock. Execute, done. They are taken out, eliminated. And we can't see right now on the map, but Konina Power, they actually did go for that ultra smooth rotate all the way up there to the north. They're going to be pulling in through Gattaca, and somehow, some way, they're still going to be following up right behind Bigetron. I mean, these two teams, they're like magnets this game.
Yeah, and look at Futbolist right now. Looks like they're rocking a 3-man squad. Not sure exactly what happened with that 4th member. Hopefully they can get that figured out. I mean, this is a super weekend. You can't be affording to go in with only 3. But hey, I mean, we'll have to see how they end up finishing it off with that 3-man squad. But hey, Bigetron, they're rocking their full 4-man. They were able to get into this next circle relatively cleanly. And you can just see Alpha 7 stuck in this dip, throwing out those smokes to try and buy themselves some time. We'll see how long they're going to be able to hold this position, though.
Bigetron, they have this ridge, they have their vehicles, but this ridge is not in the zone. So they have some time to work with as they wait for that blue zone to collapse. They are going to be gaining some information right now. They are deciding right now, do we make the push across this hill right on into Alpha 7 and take their spot from them? We'll see, as they are going to be sending out Microboy out there for that off angle. Could play spoiler, could get a lot of information onto Alpha 7.
Yeah, we'll see. Microboy maybe trying to get a good rotation for his team as well. I don't think they can push this, especially as soon as they get on top of the hill. There's so many squads looking right, and here comes Blue Bees. Divine, he's sending it all the way across on his lonesome. He's going to go ahead and park it right in that open field, possibly lay down next to that vehicle. And I think that's what the only option for a lot of these teams are right now, as a lot of the main locations are pretty much all taken.
Yeah, Blue Bees, they lost 2 in their whole rotational pass. One thing, though, that is good on the side of Blue Bees is nobody is going to be near them out there in the west. So they have their fingers crossed. They hope the next zone does favor them. Microboy going to be setting up camp over here, tossing out some smokes to block the sightlines from Loops and allow Bigetron to make their way on into one of the chopsticks.
Yes, they were able to get in there safely, and you can just see them throwing them smokes out right now. And to be honest with you, I don't think they really want this fight, especially with this next zone coming up. I think they just want to hold it down for now, see where the next circle goes, and then decide from there. And yeah, you're going to see Bigetron just throwing out a ton of smokes right now as this next zone's about to pop. And this is going to be a critical one for all these teams. Where will it go? Let's see. Where's it going to go? Oh, baby! Right on top of them. That is exactly what they were hoping and dreaming for. So you can already see the aggression starting to come out from Bigetron. They're going to have to start pushing up onto Loops here in the next few moments.
And one thing that we see from both Loops and Bigetron, they position their dossiers to kind of create a makeshift barricade between both sides of the chopsticks and allow them to push up just a little closer. But Loops, they're going to be spraying right now through the smokes.
Adin to be able to get some knocks, some shots there through that smoke, like you mentioned. Those hit markers coming in clutch. But, oh, a huge nade from Zuxi. Able to get him. Oh, but Federal was able to catch him right in return. So a battle of the nades. And this is a beautiful little tunnel right here. This is, of course, in the new Erangel. Oh, Federal sees that grenade. He's going to hold that spot, though. But right now, Bigetron's going to be throwing all their kit to try and buy them some time, get some reses off, and try and make something happen. Oh, a lot of bounces right now. Will they be able to get another clutch knock off? Ski's in big trouble. I think he's going to go ahead and run right back into that tunnel.
With the new update, grenades do 20% less damage, but they still hurt. They still sting, and especially with the amount of grenades at the disposal of these pro players, they're going to be tossing out one after another. Federal still defending this tunnel.
And this is a great spot right here. This is the first time I think we've been able to see this location used in competitive PUBG Mobile at this high level. And Loops are using it to their best advantage. Bigetron, though, with all that pressure from those grenades and smokes, playing this so well, they're just moving up inch by inch, creeping closer and closer. Still battles going all over the place. Alpha 7, I think their options are kind of just hang out in this chopsticks for now and wait to see if any teams decide to push up on them, trying to catch some free players out. Because this next circle's coming on up, and there's still a lot of teams that are not in this next one.
Well, the thing is, Klas was kind of maintaining vision on that western chopstick that Alpha 7 are in. He recognized Alpha 7 are also pushing on into the tunnel. So he made the call, pull back just a little bit. Now they're going to be in this dip right between two teams, Bigetron and Alpha 7. Hopefully they will not get pinched. Only time will tell.
Yeah, we can just hear shots going on all over the place, especially on these teams that are stuck outside of the circle. There goes Bluebees and Team Secret as well. They're going to be eliminated right here because of this zone rotation. And yeah, look at that. Pretty much everybody that was outside of this zone, they're just getting picked apart piece by piece as we continue to watch Loops try to hold down this position. There goes Konina Power out in 12th. 11 teams remaining here in game number 1. And boy, is this a doozy.
Konina Power, they have so much distance traveled this one game, actually crazy. But the new zone, Nova, in the compounds, in the zone, they're going to be overlooking all this. And here comes the pressure from not only Futbolist, not only Loops, but also Alpha 7.
Look at the clock. Only 30 seconds left in this next one. Right now, Loops, Bigetron, Alpha 7, they are panicking, having to figure out what to do. They have to battle out between each other and try to get into this next zone. Then again, there goes 4 Angry Men out. Nova, this is their game. With this circle rotation, they should be able to get a ton of points as well as a chicken dinner here. But Loops, 6 kills so far, doing great, trying to hold it down and make something happen right here the next few seconds.
Nova, they do have the compounds, but they also have RRQ and Arrow down there to the south who are also going to be looking at that compound, looking to maybe push. But right now, the main story, Loops, can they survive?
They're trying their best right now. Molotov's coming on in. They are pinched between both Alpha 7 and Bigetron. Federal is knocked, and here comes the press right now from Alpha 7, running full 3-man, swagging through, switching to that FPP like we were talking about earlier, and putting in some work, devastating this Loops team. That's going to be 3 kills from them, but here comes Bigetron, Ryzen, switching to FPP as well. He's going to hit that laydown. Oh, goes for the heal at the wrong time. Alpha 7 able to knock out these two major squads, and they're going to try to get these reses off and start moving, but look at the zone just creeping up on them.
Alpha 7, I mean, we saw the chaos, the mayhem, smokes were everywhere. We were just hip firing the barrel with that 7.62, and they were connecting their shots. They should be able to get these pickups and these revives. The thing is, all that action, all that mayhem, most definitely alerted Nova that there are some teams over there. So Nova, we have to pay attention. Will they shoot them as they make their approach? Here comes Arrow as well, trying to crash on top of Nova.
Aerowolf Limax just trying to send it on in. They know that this is the spot to be, and it looks like they were able to get one person relatively safe. As Nova, they have to look at every single direction right now, but they're sitting pretty into this next circle as there's only, I believe, one member, yeah, Super Una, from Aerowolf that's even close to them. Potato has to run across in the open field. Man, these guys are in big trouble.
Jimmy is doing everything in their power to make sure that Arrow do not push on into these compounds. Meanwhile, Cool Boy going for that risky revive onto Order 6, and I believe they might be able to get it.
I think Nova's just going for placement here at this point because they don't want to risk kind of making some crazy play, getting knocks. They want to just hold this position down. They know it's the best spot in this entire game right now, and just trying to get that chicken dinner. Only 2 kills to their name, but man, those placement points are going to be huge. The next circle, it's going to land right on top of them once again, so they can already start looking this way to apply the pressure. Great smoke wall from Aerowolf Limax. It's going to allow their whole squad to push up into here, and we'll have to see how they decide to play this out right now.
Yeah, big play. Big play. I mean, that smoke wall allowed them to safely cross that street without being fired upon from Nova. And now we see Nova, they are going to be grouping up just a little bit, going to be providing that support for one another. But the main story, somehow, some way, Abrupt Slayers, they still have the whole team alive, snaking it on in these fields.
See the round kill leaders, Federal Carrillo, already out. A lot of kills from these teams all over the place. But man, this squad right now, look at this Power888 Ice. He is in big trouble. Hangzo as well from Secret Jin. Abrupt Slayers, they're trying to send it on over here. Getting pieced up really well, but Charlie is able to survive for a little second longer. Oh, this nade though. You know it's coming for them. Will he be able to hit this clutch one? This will be huge. Doesn't quite hit the mark, as Ice is having to just snake his way on in. I think it's only a matter of seconds, though, before he gets caught out. We'll see if he can make some plays, though.
Alpha 7 did go out, but they had 6 kills to go with it. A huge points being added up right there. Heaven going for the trade on the power board.
Is able to get that huge knock with that DP. And Abrupt Slayers, they're just having to make plays wide on the open. Leon with a great turnaround, but they're super Una on that off angle, just causing absolute havoc onto them. Let's see if he's able to make some more plays. And he is! There goes Abrupt Slayers out. Only 3 teams remaining.
They had a difficult push, though. They had a difficult push because their position previously was not favored, so they had no option but to send it on over there. Just unlucky for them that Aerowolf were here, 3 members strong. Secret Jin, though, they got one up. Could play spoiler and dictate who wins this engagement between Aerowolf and Nova.
I think regardless, I think Secret Jin's pretty hyped just to be in 3rd place as it is. Nova, though, they got the full squad up. Order 6 is on this roof. He's going to have the ultimate sight lines right here. And you know that these guys, they want this chicken dinner. They want to finish this game strong. Oh, there goes the first knock, but a great trade there from Spav. But Paraboy, they know they have the numbers advantage. Will they be able to make this play? Potato, this nade, if placed right, could be huge. A little too far. Gets knocked from Cool Boy, and Aerowolf Limax is in big trouble. It's only Spav left, while Secret Jin is just kicking back, watching. 2nd place guaranteed. Oh, wait, what? Kangzo with the nade. Don't clutch.
2v1.
Able to get 2. He got 2 of them with that insane 3rd-party grenade. And here comes another one. Oh, but Paraboy said, no, sir. You can get those 2 points, but we're getting the chicken dinner. Nova, XQF, able to get the first dinner today here at day number 2.
Nova, they put a lot of the eggs in the basket that their position, that their compounds that they were holding down will pay off in the late game. And guess what? Those eggs, they hatched into some chickens. Getting that winner chicken dinner in game number 1. Very, very great and good start for the squad. Secret Jin, though, I mean, talk about the importance of being able to snake it and have that trigger discipline and not kind of alert the enemies where you are too soon.
And I think that nade came in perfectly. That was a great play. To be able to steal 2 extra points as well as the 2nd place, that's a phenomenal finish right there for Secret Jin. I'll tell you what, though, man. This zone, this first game was everything I would hope it would be. It looked like Loops, Bigetron, Alpha 7 had a great position, but then as soon as that circle shifted, Nova, they just put their hands behind their back, say, hey, this chicken dinner is in the bag. But hey, let's see what the experts have to say after this first insane match. Head on over to them.
Not gonna lie, Hot Chooks, if I was Nova XQF there and we lost that game, I would be furious and would probably need to get a brand new OnePlus 8T phone because I would smash mine. They had the zone throughout pretty much the entire game. They never had to move, but that is kind of one thing we've been mentioning about Nova in the sense of they can get kills, they can get frags, that's not a big deal, but for some reason they were struggling to get to late game.
I mean, for them, they had a really confident, is the phrase I can use on air, spread across the whole map. Like from Gatka all the way down to the yellow spread, it was a monstrous spread, but they regrouped so quick in Circle 1, got themselves in that compound the second circle popped, and that's why they stayed.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, when the circle goes to you, the circle goes to you. We've said it so many times, and this is probably the first game where they haven't got more kills and placement points.
It's actually not very top heavy in terms of kills. It's actually got a really nice spread over here. I mean, mainly because of those late game circle shifts, like all the teams are just like mixing up, and like I mentioned at one point, Abrupt Slayers, there was Aerowolf Limax, and also you had Nova, like they all had the red logo, like the red color. It was like, wait, who's who? I didn't know really. It was a little bit confusing.
It's crazy to think that Loop's only got one placement point, because you were looking at that position thinking, and I was saying it, like obviously we could see they were getting pushed by Bigetron, they were getting pushed by Alpha 7, so they both sort of came in. I was saying that there's a compound right above them that nobody's moved into, and that they could have easily just got up there, but instead they chose to fight down in the tunnels.
Yeah, I mean, really surprising. 7 kills was only one positioning point. Doesn't happen very often, but still a really good trend from them. But Alpha 7, like they were the team, like they were pushing, you know, going into those gutter area, into the chopsticks, and they were fighting. They Bigetron also. Yeah. They pushed aggressively.
And was that down to them, you know, because obviously they'd had that long drawn out battle with Bigetron, right? I think they kind of like were slowly walling. You can't fight 2 battles like that. That's not going to happen. So they were kind of pushed from both angles in chopsticks. It's a dangerous position, but Secret Jin with the sneaky couple of steals at the end there, confirming the kills and getting themselves great points. One of the teams that were down on the table.
Yeah, a team that desperately needed the points. So we can take a look at our second page now and see some of the other teams. I mean, the 12 points just to hold on for placements, and like you mentioned with the nade coming through, and that's quite a few extra. But one team that we have to talk about here that we mentioned at the start of the show, Klas Digital Athletics, 0 points.
Yeah, not good way to kick off the day there.
Not only them, obviously, you know, Bigetron down there as well with just the 1 point, 4 Angry Men with just the 1 point. And actually 4AM I thought had a pretty decent compound. They were almost just behind Nova, but the problem is with that compound that Nova went into, it's a big compound to defend. We saw Abrupt Slayers and Aerowolf kind of crashing into it. 4AM could have done that quite easily and maybe shared the housing, but maybe knowing Nova, they probably just thought, let's not bother.
We don't share.
No, we don't share with
each other.
No.
I mean, Team Secret get there with 4 points as well. RRQ Athena, we talked about they can do placements, but they need to step up in kills, and we do see 3 kills here, so at least starting to rise up when it comes to that. I was still happy to see, though, for Loops. 1 placement point, 7 kills. It's nice to see them get back to that raw fragging power, especially for Dean, who was basically their best player up until yesterday. But that's good to see for Loops to step up. The problem was Alpha 7 said, hey guys, we might be in your shadow in Brazil, but here in PMGC, that shadow doesn't exist.
I mean, it was Alpha 7 and Bigetron. They were pushing all together. Noobs were like, wait, this is too much. We can't deal with all these teams, like especially such good teams fighting at the same time. And they were going to go down eventually, right? Because in a gutter area, there were nades flying by. It was absolute mayhem. Like, it's hard to deal with that position.
All right, let's actually take a closer look to some of the teams we're mentioning here with Nova XQF up against the Loops and see some head-to-head statistics for them. You can see the damage done, which is insane considering... Well, okay, no, it's not that insane because obviously Nova didn't have many opportunities to fight since they were sitting in their compound for a majority of the game, but Loops put up some really big numbers. 1,600 damage done with the 7 kills, well, 1,700 damage. That's definitely something they can be proud of considering the action they had coming their way.
Oh, the damage received shows how many grenades from both Bigetron and Alpha 7 came their way. It was raining on them. Luckily, they had that one little corner in the alcove they could squeeze back into, but they were just pushed and pressured. You know, it was a great spot for them, but unfortunately for them, they were just outnumbered.
Yeah, let's actually take a look at our Do the Do moments, and I think we could probably just have a majority of that just be that fight with Loops and Bigetron and Alpha 7 coming to clean it up, because it did take such a long time. It really weared away at their resources, Max, so they could actually have no smokes, no nades. Healing was probably extremely low towards the end of that fight.
I mean, the moment you had no more utility in the finish like that, like it was almost going to be a game over. So you had to hold on to that utility as much as possible. And we jumped just to the late game right away almost because there was so much stuff happening in that section. Power888, you know, they had some early decent engagements, and I like their rotation from the western side on their secondary drop location, but they struggled to really put themselves in a decent spot in the late game stage because it was a field finish and they were going to get spotted by Nova eventually.
Yeah, and it's one of those positions when it goes to the chopsticks is what I refer to it normally as, just outside of Gatka. When it pulls across, you've obviously got that big open field from Gatka, and then everybody just sends it for the ditch. Just try and get in there and basically try and fight. And you can see it ended up being a bit of a massacre down there, unfortunately, like teams left and right. And then as Nova's attention was suddenly drawn, the problem with this compound, it's like the good and the bad. You have this wall that you can defend it with, but it also makes it easier for teams to crash it because then they have some cover themselves. So, which is why we saw Nova suddenly getting very, very busy.
I want to give a lot of respect to actually Super Uno of Aerowolf, like holding a really decent position south of that compound behind that wall and didn't get spotted out for the longest time and then just came in swinging at the last second. And of course, they do spot out Super Uno as they try and make it inside the compound. Nova going to be put in a really, really good defensive position. And then afterwards, the last player of the Secret Jin, with a grenade, it was down to 1v2, but it was going to be still a really hard fight to 1v2 versus Nova.
I mean, I guess they assumed that they were in a straight brawl, right, with Aerowolf, and then it was like, wait, where did that just come from? What the? There's somebody at the tree. Because they actually had somebody on the roof, right? Because they were that confident that it was just, we've got nothing to worry about. We're going to get up on the roof and we're going to push over them because they didn't expect any snakes to be around. So it could have gone really bad for them, actually.
I'm not going to lie, though. If I was him there in a 1-on-2 against Nova XQF, I couldn't think of a worse team to be having a fight against, especially when they're both barreling against you and all you have is this lonely little skinny tree in front of you. But I have to ask you, if I were to put you both on the spot, top 10 kills in the Super Weekend, who do you think would be up there on that list? If you were to give me some names.
Like players? Specific player?
You high boy maybe, because he had a big, but that was only Miramar.
Hasakai, 33 Svan. Those are the two like I'm already thinking of. Order potentially coming through.
Jing'e was up there from
Yeah.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got some guesses. Let's see how close we are. Let's see if we got any of the names right, which I'm telling you right now, we probably definitely did. And there we go. Order, Hasakai, you high boy. Silas get in there as well, of course, as we saw him yesterday. Paraboy. I mean, you're seeing Nova with 2 players in the top 10. You have 4 a.m. with 3. But good to see some other names. Federal stepping up, where he's typically the Dean Federal carrying over his experience and his high-level play from PMPL America Season 2. But ISIS as well, coming from Power888 KPS.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really happy to see Federal still up there. I want to see them try and improve their points because it was a little bit of a disappointing first day on the Super Weekend. So they can try and pull themselves back up in that top 8, even potentially top 5 because they got the skill. They got Carrillo, they got himself also Federal. They got so much skill. Like, it's like the superstar team of South America, and I want to see them do really good because they have the team to do so. But it's just like results like that with 7 kills. If you do that the entire day, like they should be good to go.
I mean, that's a good game for probably about 7 teams because there was quite a few of them that had 10+ points. So it was a great game in terms of points to gain ground on. Obviously, when we saw 4 a.m. etc. getting 0 points, it just condenses that table again.
Exactly. That makes me wonder what our rankings is going to be, but we have to wait till then. But what I can tell you about right now is a little bit of a contest we have going on currently over on Twitter. We have our art contest where you guys can create your artwork related to PUBG Mobile. You can draw your favorite host with glasses and a big nose. You can draw your favorite player, your favorite team, anything related to PUBG Mobile and PMGC, and tweet it to Esports PUBG Mobile with the hashtag PMGC. We already have some entries, and I'll tell you right now, they're extremely good. And if you're one of the winners selected, you get a cheeky little prize with some UC added to your account. But also, there's other ways to win prizes. Why don't you take a look, and when we come back, we'll be here with our second match of the day.
PUBG Mobile Global Championship is brought to you by the title sponsor, Qualcomm Snapdragon Elite Gaming, the official beverage sponsor, Mountain Dew, and OnePlus 8T 5G smartphone, the official partner phone.
Well, we started off the day talking about our missions, reminding you guys at home what you can win if your regions do well. And now we have to take a look at what's going on for South Asia. You have your one representative at the moment with Abrupt Slayers. And Max, currently, what rank are they in?
Abrupt Slayers are currently in 7th position. So you're going to get a bit of juicy loot for yourself. You're going to get some currency. You're going to get that supply crate coupon. Also, hopefully you get a legendary skin, which if it was me opening it, I probably wouldn't because I got none. I got no goods. I am poor.
Now I just feel bad for Max.
Give me, please.
I'm just like, it's oh man, we'll get you something. Don't worry. I'll talk to the higher ups. Like, can we get Max's account decked out? He's still gonna lose PMCO, but we'll get you decked out. Let's take a look at his schedule. What's coming up next here? We have Vikendi as our second match today here, and I'm really curious to see how this one's gonna work because we talked about Bigetron, one of the strongest maps. They've not really had a strong day that we saw before, and I think there's not a game that's going to go by where we don't think about Bigetron because they're defending champions.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously their map, but it was a pretty chaotic one yesterday. They were in the mix, no doubt about it. Obviously, 4 AM coming out on top and a fantastic game, really. It was very messy, everything going everywhere. I think it was actually Alpha 7 that won for Vikendi. I can't even remember now. Alpha 7 definitely won one of them. I'm pretty sure it was Vikendi. I'm pretty sure it was Vikendi that won. They had the compound it went to them and everybody was stuck in the south. And for Bigetron, obviously, they're slow rotators, so we'll see whether they keep that up. Okay, well, we're going to head over to our commentators now since the game is ready to go. It's going to be Hot Jukes and Mustache Dave, so take it away.
Thank you so much, Jason. Here we go into match number 2, everybody. I mean, I'm just trying to just calm down after that first one because that one was just so much hype. Here we go, and actually, literally, are going to chill out into Vikendi, Dave. Now, I'm going to ask you this. You and I, every time we cast a Vikendi match, bro, first zone water circle. What are your predictions, Dave? Pull out the crystal ball.
Last time you asked me this, I was spot on. I called it a 40%. We had 40%. This game, I think we will not have water. For some reason, I got a feeling that circle number 1 is going to be, bam, right there on the mainland, no water in play. I'm confident with that, Jukes.
Where's the toxicity, Dave? Huh? Where is it?
The thing is, we had water last game, right? I mean, the toxic scale
could be a theme though.
So high, it can only go so high.
True. I guess we'll have to see how it ends up playing out here. Looking at the leaderboards though, we're starting to see, I mean, some pretty big leaders come on here. I think 4 Angry Men so far with 80 points in first, doing really, really well. I mean, of course, we heard the desk talk about Bigetron, currently sitting in 10th place. We'll have to see how they do though as we get into match number 2. Here we go.
And kind of, to add on to your point about the overall leaderboards, 4 Angry Men first place, Nova XQF second place, the two teams from China at the top. And we keep talking about them. They did not play TPP before. Now they're playing TPP. They're stomping. And also, they don't play certain maps in PEL. And they're still stomping the competition here.
They'll stop it, man. I always love to see the people there. They are experts, doing the freestyle, showing their Michael Phelps off. Love to see that right there. But yeah, this is gonna be a big one. This is gonna be a big one as we look at this playing path. Gonna head over to the edge side here. It's gonna be at the end of the day, Vikendi's not a massive map, so everybody's gonna pretty much be able to go to their specific location. But I can't lie, my all eyes are gonna be on where's this first circle coming.
Right in the middle, baby. Mount Kresnik, you already know. Right in the middle. Roka, you already know. Vikendi, we know footballists like to go to port, execute, go to Dobro, 4 AM. They like to flex that coal mine, loops, Cosmodrome. Oh, and I'm eating my words. Circle number 1 will be having some water in play. So, Jukes, my crystal ball, it's a 50-50. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Give it to me, man. Come on, cut me some slack.
Look, I think that when you cleaned it, I think you just didn't get the edge. You know what I'm saying? So it looked like all. But guess what? We're gonna do a remake, baby. So we'll have to get that crystal ball all nice and polished up again, so we can see how this next game will end up going. But Dave, I mean, back to what we were talking about when it comes to these leaderboards so far. I know that we haven't really seen a lot from these teams. Only day number 2, but at the same time, I kind of hate saying it's only day number 2 because there's only a few super weekends here. After tomorrow, a quarter of pretty much all the days that really matter to get points is done with, and that's not even guaranteeing that you're gonna make it into these next upcoming super weekends. What are your thoughts on that?
First, okay, I'm gonna answer your question, but my first thought is maybe my crystal ball is correct. Just throwing that out there, hot chicks. But back to the importance of qualifying for the super weekend. Yeah, it is so important. Teams, their main mission, their main goal, qualify to play in the 3 days of the super weekend, because the points that they acquire in the super weekend, well, that gets added to the championship points leaderboard. And at the end of the event, at the end of the 4 weeks, the top 16 teams with the most points, of course, on the championship leaderboard, well, they go to the finals. So I think for teams that made it here to week number 1 super weekend, they already have the advantage, right? They already have 15 games played where they at least got some points on the board. So it's going to be very interesting to see moving forward. But Hot Jukes, let's go hear from Alpha 7.
Hello, my name's John Allen and I'm here with Law from Alpha 7. We're going to be taking a quick chat around the proceedings leading up to the PMGC. But first of all, Law, how are you feeling today?
Estou bem.
Well, that's good to hear. You guys had a little bit of a rough road back in Americas, but you did beat out a lot of the heavy hitters, a lot of the very strong teams from your region. Are you guys going to be thinking about trying to emulate that performance in the GC, taking on some of the best in the world, or are you going to maybe try and retreat from those fights a little bit? How are you feeling about going aggressive against them?
Para você jogar em alto nível contra essas equipes tão fortes, você tem que ter uma trocação muito forte. E a gente está tentando trabalhar isso aos poucos. A gente tem muitos erros individuais e a gente cometeu muitos erros na final. E a gente passou quase não por muito pouco e está tentando consertar o máximo de erro possível nesse meio tempo até a PMGC.
So what are you looking specifically at changing? Are you going to be maybe more cautious moving into those fights, or are you going to, change up how you rotate around the map? Is it a specific adjustment you're making, or is it going to be a more general idea of tightening up all of the existing playbook that you have?
A gente teve muito problema na questão de ser cauteloso e a gente sempre estava spotando muito e a gente com o tempo foi arrumando isso, mas deixou de ser um problema faz pouco tempo. A gente está tentando buscar novos horizontes.
Well, you're looking for new things, looking for new plays, potentially. Fantastic to hear. Is there any teams that you're looking at and thinking, oh, these guys are pretty good? Is there anyone that you're thinking is your main rival moving into this tournament?
A gente não tem um rival bem estabelecido, todos os participantes da PMGC são rivais no caso, né? Mas a nossa região, nosso maior, entre aspas, rival é a Lupus, né? Sempre está disputando com a gente títulos aqui no nosso servidor e eles são quem a gente mais bate de frente.
Well, maybe other teams are going to be looking around the lobby as well. And if they are going to be looking at you, what should they be paying attention to? What do you think makes Alpha 7 special? What makes you stand out?
Eu acho que a gente tem uma rotação e um posicionamento muito bom e isso deixa a gente bem forte, porque no competitivo essa é a maior vantagem, provavelmente, é o posicionamento. Mas mesmo assim a gente continua tendo os erros muito técnicos e específicos e a gente está tentando arrumar isso aos poucos.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to see the results of that in the coming tournament. Thank you for joining me, Law. Before we go, is there anything you want to say to your fans who have been supporting you over the course of the Americas and will hopefully continue to do so over the course of the Global Championship?
Eu queria agradecer pela torcida de todo mundo. O apoio de vocês é indescritível, não tem como falar.
Well, hopefully their support will be able to get you the results you're looking for over in the Global Championship. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you on the battlefield and we'll see you guys at home back on the broadcast. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Well, it's not who you expected to be back on camera, but it is an upgrade, even though we don't have as nearly as much mustache as a certain person in that caster pairing. But I do want to talk about that interview a little bit with Law from Alpha 7. I like when John asked him about who's your rival in PMGC, and he was saying that there's a lot of teams that should be anyone's rival when it comes to it, because they're all the best teams around the world. But when it comes to local, of course it's going to be Loops. But I feel like Alpha 7, they shouldn't really doubt themselves because they are performing so well here so far.
I mean, they're actually above Loops right now, and they're feeling really confident. They're a little bit similar to, I would say, Angry Men when people compare them to Nova. Like, they always see like Angry Men second team best in like China, but now they're actually dominating above Nova. And now you've seen that similar fashion for Brazil. Like,
very interesting stats. You can see like the difference. Yes, Loops have more damage, but they've also got more damage to receive, which means Alpha 7 are happy to play out of a compound. They're happy to sit in the compound, get themselves in a composition, whereas Loops are happy to take an open fight effectively. Which is where obviously, I mean, yes, they're probably, I think like 1,200 that damage just came from the previous match, where obviously they're getting grenaded left and right by Bigetron. So it is interesting to see how it works out. But Alpha 7 are not afraid to take them on in a fight. They were well aware of who they were pushing in those tunnels. They knew that Loops were there.
But that's what Law also said in the interview, is that they feel like during, I guess, PMPL, they were playing too cautious, and they wanted to work on that. It seems like they finally found that like subtle balance, right, Max, of like playing too safe versus playing too wild and crazy, because they attacked at the perfect time. They found the exact moment when to hit Loops, and they punished them.
In that game, it was a perfect balance. I really enjoyed it, but I want to go back actually on Alpha 7 and what happened yesterday. And we just had the interview with Law. Law is always the man, like on Vikendi, on Miramar. You always see Law just send himself forward for Alpha 7, just going dead center circle, creating that anchor point for the rest of the team, and like they just
forward scout.
Exactly, and then the entire team follows up and they take that pinpoint position under control, which is why I enjoy really seeing happen from Alpha 7. And now they also got some good late game potential in team fighting, and I think they indeed found that perfect balance so far, Jason.
It's such an unforgiving role as well, because if often you're going to be the guy that gets knocked, right? You're the guy that scouts in ahead to find the team, and then everyone's like, oh, why did you just die so early? It's like, well, somebody's got to do it. Like that.
There's
generally,
excuse, Max.
Generally, it's going to be that guy. But I'm very interested, and often you talked about the fact that they were playing a bit scared. The fact is that Loops ended 120 something points ahead. When you're in a region like that, and obviously you're in a battle, there is always going to be a fear factor that builds up, because like, these guys are so far ahead of us. They must be so good. We can't take a fight with them. And now obviously they've realized, like, hang on a minute. We're in the global championships as well. Why don't we just take the fights on? And I think they're slowly realizing like the strength and confidence they've got. They won a game on both weekdays and yesterday in the Super Weekend. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go and win another game today.
Yeah, they very well might. And I love how you kind of talked about the Loops being 100+ points ahead and that fear factor. I mean, think about the other regions that are battling against like their favorites, their region's favorites. Look at Southeast Asia. You got 6 teams coming in. You have Bigetron just dominating pretty much the entirety of this year and most of last year. Imagine being one of those teams playing under their shadow. You have that extra pressure on your shoulders of like, well, you got to beat Bigetron.
I also think it's had the reverse effect, because I think we saw it with the interview from... Come on, I said it before. Hazelnuts.
Hazelnuts. Okay.
Hazelnuts.
Hazelnuts.
How can I forget his name twice? Twice running, I forget his name. But yeah, we saw it from him, just how confident they were, because they're like, we finished so close behind Bigetron, who are by and far the global champions. You know, they've done so much. They've been there, done that in every competition they've gone into. So if you finish close behind them, you think, well, hang on a minute, they're the best in the world. We're finishing just behind them. We must be good. Like, it gives you breeds that confidence effectively. So that's why we're seeing like Aerowolf Limax in that previous fight, thinking we can take this fight on with Nova, no problem.
I think there's also something that really helps a lot of the teams who don't have the experience of playing on a global stage, of the fact you're playing from home.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about like LANs, we talk about the global finals last year, you know, in Malaysia with Bigetron there having their fans and their audience right in front of them playing. That adds a lot of extra pressure. And I'll tell you what, you know, if I'm sitting there working from home, you know, I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing a shirt, no pants, because you can't see anything down there. I'm relaxed. The players at home, they do have cameras on them this time, but they're in the comfort of their own home. And that gives them a level, or it gives them something they don't have to worry about, of like an audience shouting at you or cheering for you.
There's good and bad ways to look at it, right, Max? Because some obviously everybody feels comfortable at home, but some feed off the crowd, whereas some are a little nervous about it. Right?
Exhilarated,
Yeah.
really. They feel really strong and empowered by the support of their fans and everything. Like sometimes it comes through the form of YouTube or Twitch chat, and sometimes it can come in like the
people cheering,
saying like Bigetron or like Aerowolf, and they're trying to support your team. So it really depends once again of like what's your mentality. Like sometimes you can drive the most out of it, or sometimes you just like play like Jason without pants on and just play.
Hey, I will tell you for a fact, I'm gonna look straight at this camera for this one, that Lydia and I, Demon and I, have definitely commentated together, both not wearing pants. Definitely happened when it was 40+ degrees.
One hot day in Moscow.
It was a very warm day, but it's about comfort. And for Bigetron, I think their greatest comfort is when they are playing on a stage, because they're so used to that situation. They're so used to playing in front of a crowd, playing in front of an audience, playing with that extra pressure.
Tenerife as well. It was twice. This is scary. There's a pattern forming. Tenerife. We were in shorts.
That is true. That is 100% true. With a nice fan under the desk.
Nobody knows.
Warm.
See,
cool.
when you see John and Blank behind that desk, you don't really know what they're wearing underneath.
That is true. And we can't tell you at home, fortunately. Or fortunately, depending on who you are. But as we have a couple minutes till the match kits going here, I'm wondering, what are teams really focusing on in these matches, in the sense of when you're trying to learn and improve during these games, Max? Where do you think like the #1 priority for teams should be in what they learn? Like trying to figure out rotations, trying to figure out teams' drop spots. What in your eyes do you think is like what teams should be focused on at the moment?
That's actually a really good question, because I just saw on the Instagram story of Lufa just a few days ago, actually not a few days, like actually yesterday after the games, like they knew they had a really, really bad day. We're going to say it, like they struggled heavily on those 5 games. And Lufa said, rotations didn't work today. We're coming in with different strats coming into today, and I think that's really good. It's like you're testing on the go. You're trying to hit the ground running and find rotations that work. If it doesn't work, trial, repeat, fix on the go. And I think that not only BBs but all the teams are kind of embodying that mentality of if it doesn't work, we've got to find another way to do it. Because if you keep trying the same strat time and time and time again, the chances are it's just not going to happen.
To go back to Hazelnuts, he said about himself, he's like, as the IGL, you've got to decide when to attack, when to defend, when to hold steady, and that's what they're doing. Everybody's just trying to find their way. With these 16 teams set in stone in the lobby, everybody's trying to figure out what tactic works against what team.
Right, and it's about like the consistency of the entire tournament, right? It's not about what works for you that
So can we just slow?
That damn button is back. Our oldest enemy.
Sambil menunggu match keduanya tentunya di sini. Jangan lupa untuk kalian match kedua dari grup G ya. Untuk kalian jangan lupa di like, di komen dan juga di share ya guys. Oke, sambil menunggu match kedua ya. Kurang dari 20 detik lagi kita akan memasuki match kedua, yaitu di map Miramar dari grup G. Jangan lupa dukung terus tim-tim kesayangan Anda ya. Oke, sepertinya kita akan memasuki ke dalam in-game-nya ya. Oke, untuk kalau pesawat itu dari arah seperti tadi ya, tapi cuma di arah atas. Kalau tadi itu di arah bawah kan. Kali ini tuh di arah atas, yaitu dari Ruins itu ya, menuju ke atas dari Impala ya, atau daerah-daerah pertengahan dengan El Azhar tentunya di sini kita lihat. Ini sih banget memantul. Oke, lihat guys, nah nggak terlalu musik gitu loh. Oke. Kalau kita mulai musiknya tentunya biar tidak berisik, biar tidak ada yang terganggu. Di sini kita lihat. Oke, untuk para pesawat dari tim-tim situ sudah mulai pada turun ya guys ya. Tim-tim sudah mulai turun ke kompon masing-masing. Oke. Dan sepertinya lebih dominan ke atas ya. Untuk arah mana itu? Untuk grup G mungkin dari player-player, tapi di sini dari tim GRZ sepertinya akan bertemu dengan tim Papu ya, di daerah Graveriet ya, di daerah Graveriet. Oke, di sini kita lihat dari Power888 sudah menggunakan AKM dan juga VSS-nya ya, tentu saja baik sekali digunakan untuk early game yaitu AKM. Dan dari tim 3 sendiri atau tim Papi juga sudah mendapatkan utility yang mungkin bisa dikatakan cukup ya, atau bisa lah ya untuk dibawa ke early game. Nah, mungkin ditambah sedikit face dan juga helm. Oke, helm pick up di situ ada Papi RZ. Di sini kita lihat dari Storm juga ya. Dari Storm di sini wow, lumayan berbahaya sekali dari tim Storm ini. Dan di situ ya terjadi penumpukan yaitu antara tim 16 dan juga tim 7 ya. Di sini kalau kita lihat sepertinya dari tim DG ya, tim DG bertemu dengan tim R2F ya. Sedangkan di sini kalau kita lihat dari tim DG di situ hanya melakukan scrapping manja ya di daerah dekat dengan tim R2F ya. Ini kita masih menunggu Papi dan juga tim 1 yaitu tim Storm. Apakah akan terjadi baik dari game saya di situ? Majesty berhasil men-takedown 1 player. Paripam juga berhasil men-takedown 1 player. Sepertinya terjadi fight di arah atas ya. Di sini kita lihat di arah utara dari map Miramar lawan. Oke, sebenarnya 1 player sudah dipulangkan ke lobby dari tim 4. Sangat disayangkan sekali ya. 1 player harus dilobbykan gitu loh di early game seperti ini. Sedangkan Itu adalah kesalahan yang sangat fatal sekali yang dilakukan oleh tim-tim yang melakukan war di early game ya, karena kalau kita melakukan war di early game itu berkesempatan besar 1 atau bahkan 2 mungkin sampai 3 player kita itu bakalan take down ya, karena ya dan ya karena itu apa namanya war di early game kadang seperti utility yang belum lengkap atau senjata yang kita miliki itu belum rekomendasi untuk melakukan fight. Oke, George Skillmong di sini melakukan flanking ke arah kanan atau mungkin memperluas daerah lootingan mereka ya dari George Skillmong, dan di sini Papua yang harus bertempur dengan tim 6. Aduh, ini dari tim 3 bertempur dengan 2 tim, yaitu tim 6 dan juga tim Athena ini melakukan spydown menggunakan sisi milik kitinya. Kita lihat satu player dari arah bawah, di sini kita lihat ada player yang melakukan flanking ke arah kiri dan di situ tadi lihat tapi masih belum ke spydown oleh Meo, dan satu player berhasil di take down dari Papi Neno. Di sini kita lihat tapi di situ tapi refleks yang sangat baik sekali yang dilakukan oleh Meo model masih bisa dari secure killnya, dan dari tim 6 sepertinya sudah mengantongi 2 poin kill ya, dan di sini red zone pun mendekati arah mereka tapi masih bisa mana-mana aja ya. Sayang sekali pergerakan dari tim PUBG sendiri itu harus kehilangan 3 playernya yang sudah saya beritahu sebelumnya, yaitu warrior sniper yang baik sekali yang dilakukan oleh George Mo yang berhasil mengenai dari satu player dari Storm di situ. Oke, dari George Mo sepertinya melakukan scoop manja ya, mencari pergerakan. Oke, di situ terlihat pergerakan dari Storm masih melakukan scooping manja. Satu player flanking yang sangat baik sekali yang dilakukan oleh George Skillmong ya, George Skillmong tentunya. Untuk di map Miramar kali ini itu menggunakan senjata seperti yang kita ketahui ya, seperti single ball bakar, M24 dan juga AWM itu sangat dicari ya di map Miramar kali ini, yang karena kalau kita tahu juga map Miramar ini banyak sekali tempat-tempat yang open field ya, dan juga war yang dilakukan itu war jarak jauh ya. Kalau untuk dari early game sampai ke mid game itu banyak sekali yang melakukan war dari jarak yang jauh ya, mungkin antara 200 antara 50 lah sampai 150 meter itu antara range war yang dilakukan ya. Di situ sepertinya dari player Storm berhasil di revive tapi, dan mungkin dari tim 3 tadi ya, yang Gilmong itu mungkin akan memilih untuk mundur sih, karena yang kita ketahui ya kan di turnamen itu mengkelat satu squad itu adalah sesuatu hal yang mungkin luar biasa ya, karena stabil aim dari playernya itu sudah merata, dan juga teamwork backup yang cepat yang kita tahu ya, dan juga komunikasi yang baik dari tim. Tapi di sini dari Gazeli sepertinya akan digengbeng oleh tim DG ya. Langsung saja kita lihat dari tim DG. Tapi Gazeli lebih memilih untuk mundur ya, lebih mengamankan placement poinnya. Tapi di situ terspot Gazeli. Kenapa? Gazeli malah terbokong dari belakang tadi ya, kalau kita lihat ya. Oke, Jig sepertinya melakukan TPP gaming. Oke, langsung saja ditinggal, belum melihat posisi dari tim Gozali ya di sini ya. Dan langsung saja di secure killnya dan kembali ke lobby ya. Dan tersisa satu player dari tim R2F yaitu Delta ya, sudah memiliki flare gunnya dan juga dengan vest dan helm yang lumayan mumpuni untuk di early game. Di sini kita lihat, dan Moedland juga sepertinya ada war yang dilakukan oleh Moedland di sini ya. lumayan sangat agresif. Modeon ya, Modeon lumayan sangat agresif gameplay dari Modeon kali ini yang belum memasuki menit ke 9 ya. Mereka sudah mengantongi 3 poin kill. Waduh, ngeri-ngeri sih. Di early game 3 poin kill adalah hal yang sangat lumayan banget ya guys ya. Lumayan di early game gitu. Dan di sini dari tim ROF ya. Oh, salah satu player terjatuh di situ, kita lihat dari tim Force ya. Dari tim Force di situ harus terjatuh. Dan di sini dari DP OP5 sepertinya akan bertemu dengan Seven Sky. Di situ terlihat pergerakan dari Seven Sky. Apakah akan di dilakukan? Oh ya, saya lanjut di sini. Oh, hampir meledak mobilnya, tapi masih belum satu kali lagi percobaan. Sepertinya mobilnya akan meledak di situ, tapi masih berhasil terselamatkan dari Ki ya di situ ya. Tapi dari spraydown kedua kalinya masih belum terkonek ya. Di sini kalau kita lihat di map Miramar kali ini dia itu memiliki beberapa vehicle yang mungkin bisa dibilang sulit untuk dikendarai ya, karena mungkin tekstur dari tanah Miramar ya, banyak sekali gundukan atau kayak bukit-bukit kecil gitu yang membuat kesulitan bagi kita yang menggunakan vehicle untuk melakukan rotasi ya. Tapi kalau kita tidak menggunakan vehicle untuk rotasi ya, sedangkan kita tahu di map Miramar ini kalau nggak salah 6x6 ya guys, jadi itu agak luas gitu loh, yang juga circle-nya yang kadang-kadang kebanting-banting yang membuat kita kesulitan untuk memasuki zona. Dan juga banyak sekali tempat-tempat yang open field ya, yang membuat kita sangat gampang banget untuk dispray oleh musuh ya. Nah, serba bingung juga sih di Miramar. Tapi baiknya juga di Miramar itu kalau kita mungkin mendapatkan jalur zona yang enak gitu loh, kayak mau masuk ke zona ini jalannya enak nih, enggak jalan bukit-bukit, mungkin lebih enak lagi ya, karena di Miramar itu jarang sekali ditemui kayak cacing-cacing gaming ya kan. Jadi lebih gampang untuk men-spot musuh-musuh ya kan. Sedangkan kalau di Erangel sendiri itu malah kayak banyak sekali tempat-tempat yang bisa buat HBD ya, kayak cacing gaming di mana-mana gitu kan. Jadi skill adu aimnya lebih berkurang gitu loh. Sedangkan di Miramar itu yang diutamakan itu skill adu aim dan juga close combat ataupun one by one gitu lah, yang lebih diunggulkan gitu loh. Siapa yang jago dalam close combat, siapa yang jago dalam one by one ya lebih diunggulkan daripada di Erangel gitu loh. Kalau di Erangel juga yang kita ketahui kan banyak banget gitu loh cacing-cacing gaming. Oke, di situ terdengar dan tapping manja dilakukan oleh Rings, tapi masih belum open sekali di situ dari Mujia. Tapi ada mini yang baik sekali dilakukan oleh Mujia. Dua player harus tertakedown dari tim OP5 Wanit ya di sini. Kalau pergerakan dari tim MJHD itu banyak sekali player-player yang open ya. Di sini kita lihat dari Vianney melakukan flanking ke arah kanan ya. Oke, sepertinya dia akan memberhentikan kendaraannya, melakukan flanking ke arah kanan untuk mendapatkan view. Di situ terlihat baru kendaraan. Oke, OP5 bisa lihat kendaraannya setelah dilakukan oleh Vianney berhasil mendapatkan satu player, tapi ada spraydown balasan yang dilakukan oleh one hit di sini. Kalau kita lihat benar sekali ya, di Miramar benar-benar adu aim, adu refleks ya, refleks terlambat ya. Itu menjadi kesalahan dan juga teamwork, betul sekali. Baik sekali tadi ada crossfire ya, backup fire yang dilakukan oleh tim 15 ya ke arah temennya ya. Tapi satu player dari tim 20 ini sepertinya sudah tidak bisa di revive lagi ya, karena sangat open untuk melakukan menuju ke sana ya, yang juga beresiko ya. Dan juga berisiko. Oke, Khalifa di sini melakukan flanking ke arah kiri, mencari informasi tentang. Oke, di situ terlihat apakah akan di steal killnya, masih belum, malah dia melakukan fire, membuat posisi dari Khalifa dan juga skuter ZR spot oleh tim 12 ya, tim 20 ya. Oke, di situ lihat player dilakukan, satu player harus tumbang, tersisa one man standing dari tim OP5 di sini ya. Itu wajib ya. Oke, wajib melakukan healingnya di sini, tapi ada rasa dilakukan oleh tim MGC dilakukan, tapi masih belum berhasil untuk meng-clutch ya, atau survive ke lebih lama lagi ya. Di sini sayang sekali dari tim 20 tadi ya, kalau nggak salah. Dari tim 20 mereka harus pulang ke posisi ke-19. Waduh, wadidaw. Tapi di situ harus berhati-hati. Ada Seven Sky mungkin yang sudah menunggu ya. Oh, sepertinya dari Seven Sky tidak memiliki vehicle. Oh, ada satu vehicle, bahkan dua ya. Satu buggy dan juga satu jeep kalau saya sebut ya. Tapi kalau di player PUBG biasanya player PUBG biasanya mereka punya sebutan sendiri-sendiri buat vehicle ataupun vehicle ataupun sebuah senjata gitu loh. Mereka memiliki cara ciri khas sendiri-sendiri untuk menyebut mungkin juga utility ya, seperti ada yang menyebut first aid, ada yang menyebut kotak pertama ya kan, ada juga yang menyebut bandage ya kan. Ya begitulah. Dan di sini dari tim Love juga ya kan, dari tim Love sudah berada di tengah-tengah zona ya, dengan aman, dengan enjoy ya. Sepertinya akan terjadi rusuh di daerah-daerah pertengah-tengah zona ya, karena masih 18 tim benar sekali di zona kedua kali ini. Oke, di situ terus bot, apakah akan di spray dilakukan dan lagi kali ini akan tumbang? Akankah di secure? Sepertinya dari BTZ langsung kali di secure killnya, 1 poin kill oleh BTZ ya. Baik sekali di situ, timing yang tepat yang dilakukan oleh PRR ya, menunggu suatu kesalahan yang dilakukan oleh tim lawannya ya. Oke, di sini dari CJRR juga sudah memiliki tempat yang baik sekali ya, atau sudah mendapatkan view kemana-mana. Dan MJHD Khalifa lagi-lagi, MJHD lumayan ngeri sih mainnya, kita lihat lumayan agak sakit ya. Kita lihat di sini MJ Khalifa sepertinya berhasil men-take down satu player lagi ya. Dan apakah akan ditinggal? Sepertinya akan ditinggal untuk menuju ke dalam zona ya, karena kalau kita lihat zona sudah agak sakit dan udah memasuki zona ketiga, harus segera memasuki zona. Dan di situ kalau kita lihat zona menuju ke arah Puerto Paraiso ya. Zona akan menuju ke arah Puerto Paraiso, dan di sini dari tim 10 ya, yang berada sendirian dia di sini ya. Oh iya, dia sendirian diapit oleh 2 squad, yaitu ada tim 7 dan juga tim 11 di sini ya, sahabat melakukan front gaming ya. Tapi di situ terdengar spray down. Oke, di situ open sekali pergerakan yang dilakukan oleh tim Triti ya. Baik sekali dari tim Triti. BTZ juga di situ berhasil men-take down satu player dari Majesty. Oke, dari Majesty. Dan dari tim 12 sendiri di situ tersisa satu player yang tersisa ya, last man standing. Triti juga berhasil men-take down satu player ya di sini. Kalau kita lihat baik sekali, sepertinya akan diras oleh Triti ya. Di sini kita lihat tim 11 akan bertemu dengan tim 10. Spraydown dilakukan oleh Triti, berhasil men-secure mereka. Oke, di situ spraydown diarahkan ke arah dari Tambia, tapi di situ masih belum meledak ya. Kita meledak, tapi dari PB masih berhasil selamat ya, belum terjadi ke knockdown. Oke, mereka berboncengan sepertinya. Oh, disuruh bawa bagi sendiri, Pak. Bawa bagi sendiri dari Drewiskari ini, tidak mau membawa bagi sendiri. Oke, melakukan rotasi melewati arah kanan di sini. Kita lihat saja ya. Dan sepertinya dari Triti, kupikir akan meninggalkan, tapi harus berbahaya. Berbahaya sekali. Di sebelah kiri mereka ada dari tim DG ya. Harus berhati-hati karena yang takutnya akan terjadi backstep ya di sini ya dari tim Triti. Baik sekali kesabaran yang dilakukan atau strategi yang dilakukan dari Triti. Mereka mengambil vehicle untuk melakukan flanking ke arah kiri dari tim PLB ya. Sejauh ini belum terlihat pergerakan dari tim PLB. Mungkin dari tim PLB sudah mengetahui pergerakan dari tim Triti kali ini. 2 versus 2, siapakah yang akan memenangkan kontes dari PLB ataupun Triti kali ini ya. Oh, di situ dari Deus sepertinya melihat ada salah satu supply ya. Di sini kita lihat menggunakan M16 ini. Menggunakan M16 mungkin bisa diganti juga. Oh, sorry. Dari tim 10 di situ sorry ternyata masih ada 3 player ya dari tim 10 ya, dari tim PLB 30. Oh, tapi di situ ada pelakor sepertinya dari tim 18. Oh, meninggoy. Ternyata tim 418 berhasil didapatkan begitu saja. Sayang sekali tim 18. Rotasi yang gagal yang dilakukan oleh tim 18. Dan PLB Gori di sini sepertinya memanaskan vehicle-nya, sepertinya akan melakukan rotasi ke dalam zona tentunya ya. Dan dari Triti sepertinya lebih akan menahan ya, mereka tidak mau melepaskan PLB ya. Oh, kita mau pergerakan dari Kagura Spider yang baik sekali dari Cilo, tapi dia tidak mau terlalu mengambil resiko untuk melakukan pick fire terlalu lama lagi. Dan dari BTZ juga di situ. Oh, terlihat satu vehicle yang sedang melakukan rotasi di arah kanan dari Cilo di situ. Dan dari BTZ sepertinya terjadi fight ya antara tim 14 dan juga tim 9 di sini dari tim Love ya. Oke, Love Knight itu melakukan Spydon ke arah dari BTZ. Apakah akan diras oleh Love Knight? Agresif sekali pergerakan dari Love Knight di situ, tapi belum melihat. Di sebelah kanannya juga ada dari tim BTZ yang sudah melakukan flanking. Oke, dari Love Knight tidak mau melepas. Oke, di situ terlihat. Tapi di situ ada kepelakoran yang terjadi oleh tim 7. Kesalahan yang sangat fatal yang dilakukan oleh Nice di sini. Tersisa Alterfresh seorang diri. Oke, Alterfresh melakukan TPP gaming dipenuhkan, dan di situ terlihat satu yang dilakukan di sini. Satu orang terkenok oleh Alterfresh di sini, kita lihat reload pelurunya, dan di situ open sekali. Harus berhati-hati. Alterfresh rotasi yang sangat baik sekali di ubek gitu loh dari Alterfresh melakukan smoke, tapi masih smoke granat tapi masih belum terkonekkan, tapi dia memasuki molotov. Dan di sini ada backup juga yang dilakukan oleh BTZ ya. Oke, dari BTZ melakukan backup ke arah dari teman-temannya ya. Apakah akan di gangbang? Kita lihat di sini dari Love akan di gangbang ya, ala-ala binakan. Oke, satu player terlihat di situ, langsung saja dilogikan di sini. Kita lihat sayang sekali. Oke, back to the beat, back to the game ya guys. Sorry. Oke, kali ini dari tim 7 ya, sepertinya sudah berada di dalam zona. Dan di sini kita lihat dari Storm. Oke, Storm sepertinya akan bermeet up dengan tim 8 yaitu Force, tapi di situ ada pelakor. Satu player harus tumbang dari Force ya. Dari Storm, sorry guys, dari Storm dari tim 1. Sayang sekali. Lar anjing, pingnya sangat tuh anjing. Oke, di sini kita lihat lagi ya kan. Pasti di sini sangat datang sekali tuh. Tapi hanya dilakukan, tapi ada backup fire yang dilakukan oleh tim pelakor. Berbahaya sekali ya di sini kalau kita lihat dari tim 8 itu tim Forza. Mereka kok nyebrangnya terlalu open, tapi itu ada kalau dengan dilakukan oleh Mujahidin masih berhasil diselamatkan ya, karena ada backup fire dari tim lawan. Aduh mantap di sini dari 3 tim. Di situ dari Forza memilih untuk mencari tempat yang lebih aman lagi ya, yaitu ada sebuah gundukan kecil dan mungkin mengambil zona untuk teman-temannya, karena kalau kita tahu di situ sebelahnya itu udah tidak zona sih. Daerah dari ruler ice dan juga ruler east dan itu sudah tidak berada di dalam zona ya, tapi harus berhati-hati dari tim 7 dan juga tim 1 ya. Karena di situ ada baik melakukan spray dan ke arah dari Storm. Satu player harus tertumbang. Setup granat dilakukan dari Jack. 2 granat bahkan dilemparkan ke arah dari kan sekali di situ dari Storm. Apakah yang terkonek di sini dari Storm membackup mengenai waktunya. Terus Jack melakukan spray dan proses gagal dilakukan oleh Storm Yudi dan menumbangkan dirinya sendiri. Oke, tersisa satu player yaitu D2 di situ. Dimakan oleh granat, dibanjiri oleh granat di situ dari D2 di sini hanya menggunakan Thompson dan juga M16. Apakah berhasil mengkuat satu stop dari tim satu gol tertumbang di situ oleh D2. Tersisa 3 player tertumbang. Baik sekali di sini kita lihat close combat yang dilakukan oleh D2. Tersisa 2 player. Apakah akan digranat oleh D2? Sepertinya dari D2 tidak mau mengambil resiko, mungkin juga sudah tidak memiliki utility seperti granat dan juga molotov ya. Di sini kita lihat ya. Dan juga oke dari Wds melakukan gratis ke arah dari Storm D2, tapi sayang sekali perjuangan dari Storm D2 harus berakhir di sini ya, karena digendong gitu ya kan. Oke, di sini kita lihat dari skuter juga menggunakan M24-nya menunggu timing yang tepat untuk mengelak kepala dari Ujang di situ kalau kita lihat. Dan di sini kalau posisi yang baik itu oke dari tempat mendapatkan posisi dari sekarang dilakukan oleh HR masih belum tertag. Dan di sini kita dari tim buat juga di situ sedang terjadi fight dari ruler juga. Sepertinya di sini kita lihat saja. Oke, sepertinya dari ruler akan meninggalkan temannya dan menuju ke rotasi. Tidak akan menyelamatkan temannya yang terkenok ya di sini ya. Sepertinya akan terjadi fight dengan tim 7 di sini. Jax di situ setup granat dilakukan oleh Jax ke arah dari tim 8. Apakah akan terkonek? Di situ kita lihat pas mata api masih belum terkonek, melakukan flanking ke arah kiri dari Jax. Di sini kita lihat dari satu player teman tapi ada backup dari Jax di situ, tapi Jax juga harus tertumbang. Terus baru dilakukan oleh Grozanya, dia dibalaskan 2 ya. Baik sekali melakukan oleh BC ya, terkena headshot dari versi tadi. Kita lihat sepertinya dari saya akan melakukan dan akan maju ke arah dari tim 18. Ada molotov yang membakar, tapi apakah sampah? Molotovnya membakar. Aduh, tersisa satu player yaitu Roller S. Sepertinya dari Roller S akan menuju ke dalam zona ya. Oke, disitu open sekali pergerakan dari tim. Masih belum terdengar step di zona yang karena dilakukan oleh satu player tertumbang. Baik sekali refleks yang dilakukan oleh Roller X. Tapi harus berhati di belakangnya ada DGX Bisea yang datang menggunakan Grozanya tentunya. Itu di situ terlihat pergerakan dari tersisa 3 tim. Seven Sky sepertinya akan dilakukan dan Seven Sky harus dilanjutkan dari tim BPZ di posisi ketiga. Top 2 sekarang antara tim 7 dan juga tim 14. Sepertinya kita lihat di sini Was bermain sangat agresif. Open sekali di situ terlihat oleh Was. Oke, Was di sini baik sekali seperti XQ ya. Kedua player harus tertumbang, tersisa satu player. WDZ akan melakukan sepertinya di sini kita lihat tersisa satu player. Oke, di sini dari BTZ tersisa satu playernya ya. Dan sepertinya akan digendong di sini kita lihat. Baik sekali BTZ masih bisa mensecure 1 kill. Baik sekali pergerakan dari BTZ di sini kita lihat ya. Dan menyaksikan dinner didapatkan di situ oleh tim DGX Bungkusnya dan kawan-kawan di match. Di urutan kedua di situ ada BTZ dan di urutan ketiga di situ ada Seven Sky Next to. Baik sekali pertandingan dari tim-tim untuk malam hari ini ya guys ya. Ngeri. gameplay yang sangat rapi dan juga komunikasi yang sangat baik sekali yang dilakukan oleh tim-tim ya pada malam hari ini ya. Dan mungkin kita sudah sampai di penghujung acara ya guys. Udah 3 match. Match pertama itu kita live di grup D, match pertama kita live di grup E, match kedua E, dan match ketiga cut F ya lah, F G sorry. Match pertama kita live tadi di grup E dan match kedua di grup F, match ketiganya ini baru di grup G. Itu dari yang permainan yang kita lihat sih, dari tim-tim itu memiliki kelebihannya masing-masing ya. Sedangkan kalau kita lihat di grup E tadi ya, itu bermain sangat rapi sekali. Mereka lebih memilih untuk menahan dan melakukan fight di late game ya. Tadi kalau kita lihat mungkin udah masuki zona kecil, itu masih banyak player tadi kalau kita lihat di grup E. Dan juga di grup F tidak kalah juga mereka. Kalau di grup F itu gameplaynya hampir sama sih dengan grup G. Mereka itu melakukan fight dari awal sampai akhir nggak ada habisnya. Jadi ketika ketemu di late game itu udah sedikit player, bahkan hanya beberapa tim yang tersisa. Ada juga yang sudah pincang-pincang, tinggal 2 bahkan 3 playernya. Tapi mungkin karena strategi setiap tim beda-beda ya guys ya. Oke, tanpa banyak bacot lagi ya guys ya, mungkin cukup sampai di sini saya akhiri, dan kita akan jumpa lagi mungkin di semifinalnya Gemu ID semifinal ya Ler. Gemu sih judul turnamennya apa Ler? Beginners League bro. Kita akan ketemu lagi di Beginners League semifinal besok ya guys. Dan stay tune, jangan lupa di
ini bawa barang porno ancamannya 15 tahun. Padahal di KUHP perkosaan aja 12 tahun. Kalau gitu lebih baik kita perkosa aja.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, close the door. Kita ngerokok dulu apa bang?
Sip. Satu batang ya?
Satu batang dulu. Jadi kalau Bang Karni batuk-batuk bukan COVID.
Bukan COVID. Bapak dari sono aja.
Tembakau.
Dari sono kena tembakau.
Biar nyantai kita.
Kalau di kampung saya harus merokok. Kalau nggak beradat kita.
Oh gitu.
Jadi kita duduk rokok dulu.
Rokok dulu, baru kita bisa ngobrol.
Benar.
Kalau nggak asik. Rokok, kena kopi, mantap.
Tapi kalau ketemu dokter,
apa itu? Geledek. Jadi kejar misteri. Kalau ketemu dokter diomelin.
Saya pernah patah tulang, operasi. Habis
Yo guys, kali ini di sini kita lihat dari satu PRS cuma satu ada bocah itu terlihat pergerakan dari versi 3 tim. Seven Sky sepertinya akan dilakukan tam dan Seven Sky harus dilebihkan dari tim BPZ di posisi ketiga. Top 2 sekarang antara tim 7 dan juga tim 14. Sepertinya kita lihat di sini Bos bermain sangat agresif. Open sekali di situ terlihat orang oke, Bos di sini baik sekali seperti XQ. Dan juga tim Seven Sky sepertinya akan dilakukan dan Seven Sky harus dilebihkan dari tim BPZ di posisi ketiga. Top 2 sekarang antara tim 7 dan juga tim 14. Sepertinya kita lihat di sini Bos bermain sangat agresif. Open sekali di situ terlihat orang dari D2 di sini hanya menggunakan Thompson dan juga M16. Apakah berhasil mengkuat satu squad dari tim satu gol tertumbang di sebelah D2 tersisa 32 gol tertumbang. Baik sekali tentu saja baik sekali digunakan untuk Liga. Tapi di sini dari Gazeli sepertinya akan digengbeng oleh tim DG ya. Langsung saja kita lihat dari tim DG. Sakit ya. Kita lihat di sini MJ Khalifa sepertinya berhasil men-take down satu player lagi ya, dan apakah akan ditinggal? Sebenarnya akan ditinggal untuk menuju ke dalam zona ya, karena kalau kita lihat zona sudah agak sakit dan udah memasuki zona ketiga, harus segera memasuki zona. Dan di situ kalau kita lihat zona menuju ke arah Puerto Paraiso ya. Zona akan menuju ke arah Puerto Paraiso, dan di sini dari tim 10 ya yang berada sendirian dia di sini ya. Oh iya, dia sendirian diapit oleh 2 squad, yaitu ada tim 7 dan juga tim 11 di sini ya, sahabat melakukan prawn gaming ya. Tapi di situ terdengar spray down. Oke, di situ open sekali pergerakan yang dilakukan oleh tim Triti ya, baik sekali dari tim Triti. BTZ juga di situ berhasil men-take down satu player dari Majesty. Oke. Dari Majesty. Dan dari tim 12 sendiri di situ tersisa satu player yang tersisa ya, last man standing. Triti juga berhasil men-take down satu player ya di sini. Kalau kita lihat baik sekali sepertinya akan diras oleh Triti ya. Di sini kita lihat tim 11 akan bertemu dengan tim 10. Spraydown dilakukan oleh Triti, berhasil men-secure mereka. Oke, di situ Spraydown diarahkan ke arah dari Tamiya, tapi di situ masih belum meledak ya. Meledak, tapi dari PD masih berhasil selamat ya, belum terjadi ke knockdown. Oke, mereka berboncengan sepertinya. Disuruh bawa bagi sendiri Pak, bawa bagi sendiri dari Dewi Sekari ini, tidak mau membawa bagi sendiri. Oke, melakukan rotasi melewati arah kanan di sini. Kita lihat saja ya. Dan sepertinya dari Triti, kupikir akan meninggalkan, tapi harus berbahaya. Berbahaya sekali. Di sebelah kiri mereka akan terjadi atau dari tim PLB versus 2 P. Di situ kan tim 18. Menit aja 18. Dan dari Triti dari vehicle yang sedang melakukan rotasi di arah kanan dari Chilo di situ. Dan dari BTZ sepertinya melakukan rotasi di arah kanan dari Chilo di situ. Dan dari BTZ sepertinya terjadi fight ya antara tim 14 dan juga tim 9 di sini dari tim Love ya. Oke, Love Knight itu melakukan Spraydown ke arah dari BTZ. Apakah akan diras oleh Love Knight? Agresif sekali pergerakan dari Love Knight di situ, tapi belum melihat. Di sebelah kanannya juga ada dari tim BTZ yang sudah melakukan flanking. Oke, dari Love Knight tidak mau melepas. Oke, di situ terlihat. Tapi di situ ada kepelakoran yang terjadi oleh tim 7. Kesalahan yang sangat fatal yang dilakukan oleh Nice di sini. Tersisa Alterfresh seorang diri. Oke, Alterfresh melakukan TPP gaming dipenuhkan, dan di situ terlihat satu pelakon yang dilakukan di sini. Satu orang terkena oleh Alterfresh di sini. Kita lihat reload pelurunya, dan di situ open sekali. Harus berhati-hati. Alterfresh rotasi yang sangat baik sekali di ubek gitu loh dari Alterfresh, melakukan smoke, tapi masih smoke granat, tapi masih belum terkonekkan, tapi dia memasuki molotov. Dan di sini ada backup juga yang dilakukan oleh BTZ ya. Oke, dari BTZ melakukan backup ke arah dari teman-temannya ya. Apakah akan di gangbang? Kita lihat di sini dari Love akan di gangbang ya, ala-ala binakan. Oke, satu player terlihat di situ, langsung saja dilogikan di sini. Kita lihat sayang sekali. Oke, back to the beat, back to the game ya guys. Sorry. Oke, kali ini dari tim 7 ya, sepertinya sudah berada di dalam zona. Dan di sini kita lihat dari Storm. Oke, Storm sepertinya akan bermeet up dengan tim 8 yaitu Force, tapi di situ ada pelakor. Satu player harus tumbang dari Force ya. Dari Storm, sorry guys, dari Storm dari tim 1. Sayang sekali. Lar anjing, pingnya sangat tuh anjing. Oke, di sini kita lihat lagi ya kan. Pasti di sini sangat open sekali tuh. Tapi hanya dilakukan, tapi ada backup fire yang dilakukan oleh tim pelakor. Berbahaya sekali ya di sini kalau kita lihat dari tim 8 ya, itu tim Forza. Mereka kok nyebrangnya terlalu open, tapi itu ada kalau dilakukan orang muda masih berhasil diselamatkan ya, karena ada backup fire dari tim lawan. Aduh mantap di sini dari 3 tim. Saya bayangkan di situ dari Forza memilih untuk mencari tempat yang lebih aman lagi ya, yaitu ada sebuah gundukan kecil dan mungkin mengambil zona untuk teman-temannya, karena kalau kita tahu di situ sebelahnya itu udah tidak zona sih. Daerah dari ruler ice dan juga ruler east dan itu sudah tidak berada di dalam zona ya, tapi harus berhati-hati dari tim 7 dan juga tim 1 ya. Karena di situ ada baik melakukan spray dan ke arah dari Storm. Satu player harus tertumbang. Setup granat dilakukan dari Jack. 2 granat bahkan dilemparkan ke arah dari kan sekali di situ dari Storm. Apakah yang terkonek di sini dari Storm membackup mengenai waktunya. Di sini Jack melakukan spray dan proses penjaga dilakukan oleh Storm Yudi dan menumbangkan dirinya sendiri. Oke, tersisa 1 player yaitu D2 di situ. Dimakan oleh granat, dibanjiri oleh granat di situ dari D2 di sini hanya menggunakan Thompson dan juga M16. Apakah berhasil mengkot satu squad dari tim satu gol tertumbang di situ oleh D2. Tersisa 3 player tertumbang. Baik, di sini kita lihat close combat penyerangan oleh D2. Tersisa 2 player. Apakah akan digranat oleh D2? Sepertinya dari D2 tidak mau mengambil resiko, mungkin juga sudah tidak memiliki utility seperti granat dan juga molotov ya. Di sini kita lihat ya. Dan juga oke dari WDC melakukan gratis ke arah dari Storm D2, tapi sayang sekali perjuangan dari Storm D2 harus berakhir di sini ya, karena digendong gitu ya kan. Oke, di sini kita lihat dari skuter juga menggunakan M24-nya menunggu timing yang tepat untuk mengelak kepala dari Ujang di situ kalau kita lihat. Dan di sini kalau posisi yang baik itu oke dari tempat mendapatkan posisi yang baik sekarang dilakukan oleh UHR masih belum tertag. Dan di sini kita dari tim buat juga di situ sedang terjadi fight dari ruler juga. Sepertinya di sini kita lihat saja. Oke, sepertinya dari ruler akan meninggalkan temannya dan menuju ke rotasi. Tidak akan menyelamatkan temannya yang terkenok ya di sini ya. Sepertinya akan terjadi fight dengan tim 7 di sini. Jax di situ setup granat dilakukan oleh Jax. Karena tim 8 apakah akan terkonek di situ? Kita lihat pas mata api masih belum terkonek, melakukan flanking ke arah kiri dari Jax. Di sini kita lihat dari satu player satu main satu arah backup dari Jax di situ, tapi Jax juga harus tertumbang. Terus baru dilakukan oleh Grozanya, dia dibalaskan 2 ya. Baik sekali dilakukan oleh BC ya, terkena headshot dari Forza. Tadi kita lihat sepertinya dari saya akan melakukan dan akan maju ke arah dari tim 18. Ada molotov yang membakar, tapi apakah disampah? Molotovnya membakar. Aduh, tersisa 1 player yaitu Roller S. Sepertinya dari Roller S akan menuju ke dalam zona ya. Oke, disitu open sekali pergerakan dari tim. Masih belum terdengar step di zona yang disitu. Kalau dilakukan oleh satu player tertumbang. Baik sekali refleks yang dilakukan oleh Limax. Tapi harus berhati di belakangnya ada DGX Bisea yang datang menggunakan Grozanya tentunya. Di situ terlihat pergerakan dari tersisa 3 tim. Seven Sky sepertinya akan dilakukan dan Seven Sky harus dilanjutkan dari tim BPZ di posisi ketiga. Top 2 sekarang antara tim 7 dan juga tim 14. Sepertinya kita lihat di sini Was bermain sangat agresif. Open sekali di situ terlihat oleh Was. Was di sini baik sekali seperti XQ. Kedua player harus tertumbang, tersisa 1 player. WDZ akan melakukan sepertinya di sini kita lihat tersisa 1 player yang di sini dari BTZ tersisa 1 playernya ya. Dan sepertinya akan digendong di sini kita lihat. Baik sekali BTZ masih bisa mensecure 1 kill. Baik sekali pergerakan dari BTZ di sini kita lihat ya. Dan menyaksikan dinner didapatkan di situ oleh tim BGX Bungkusnya dan kawan-kawan di match. Di urutan kedua di situ ada BTZ dan di urutan ketiga di situ ada Seven Sky next to. Baik sekali pertandingan dari tim untuk malam hari ini ya guys ya. Ngeri. Gameplay yang sangat rapi dan juga komunikasi yang sangat baik sekali yang dilakukan oleh tim-tim ya pada malam hari ini ya. Dan mungkin kita sudah sampai di penghujung acara ya guys. Udah 3 match. Match pertama itu kita live di grup D, match pertama kita live di grup E, match kedua E, dan match ketiga cut F ya lah, F G sorry. Match pertama kita live tadi di grup E dan match kedua di grup F, match ketiganya ini baru di grup G. Itu dari yang permainan yang kita lihat sih, dari tim-tim itu memiliki kelebihannya masing-masing ya. Sedangkan kalau kita lihat di grup E tadi ya, itu bermain sangat rapi sekali. Mereka lebih memilih untuk menahan dan melakukan fight di late game ya. Tadi kalau kita lihat mungkin udah masuki zona kecil, itu masih banyak player tadi kalau kita lihat di grup E. Dan juga di grup F tidak kalah juga mereka. Kalau di grup F itu gameplaynya hampir sama sih dengan grup G. Mereka itu melakukan fight dari awal sampai akhir nggak ada habisnya. Jadi ketika ketemu di late game itu udah sedikit player, bahkan hanya beberapa tim yang tersisa. Ada juga yang sudah pincang-pincang, tinggal 2 bahkan 3 playernya. Tapi mungkin karena strategi setiap tim beda-beda ya guys ya. Oke, tanpa banyak bacot lagi ya guys ya, mungkin cukup sampai di sini. Saya akhiri dan kita akan jumpa lagi mungkin di semifinalnya Gemu ID semifinal ya Ler. Gemu sih judul turnamennya apa Ler? Beginners League bro. Kita akan ketemu lagi di Beginners League semifinal besok ya guys. Dan stay tune, jangan lupa di
sudah berhasil di revive atau berhasil diselamatkan ya. Dan juga kita berpindah kepada tim zone, juga masih menuju ke arah safe zone, masih menempati masih mencoba untuk on the way menggunakan mobil kodok ya, mobil tanah ya. Kita lihat apakah berhasil diledakkan. Rupanya berhasil, timing sangat tepat sekali, tapi kita lihat rupanya last man standing dari tim zone berhasil di take down oleh tim-tim lain yang berada di depan mereka ya. Sangat sayang sekali, tapi dari sisi tim 2 juga lumayan poin sekali ya, karena satu playernya juga berhasil di serangan karena lebih ya. Mari kita lihat tersisa 2 tim saja dengan total 6 player masih live. 3 melawan 3 sepertinya ya. 3 dari tim 2, juga 3 dari tim 19. Kita lihat siapakah yang mengamankan WWCD pada match terakhir ini gitu kan. Kita lihat sini kalau misalnya dibilang zona itu bakal diuntungkan lebih kepada tim 19 ya. Dan kita lihat sini dari si Gideon Leon berhasil di take down ya oleh tim 19, yang mana kita lihat si Brengos mencoba untuk membackstep keberadaan dari tim 11. Dan kita lihat, bisa kita saksikan lagi-lagi zona rupanya terpental menuju ke arah ladang kosong ya. Belum ada satupun player yang masuk ke arah safe zone gitu. Tapi kita lihat di sini masih dengan Brengos masih mencoba untuk memantau. Dia mungkin diutus atau disuruh gitu kan untuk menjadi backstep dari tim 19 ya, agar ibaratnya tim 19 itu terhabedo ya, karena dia tidak mengira kalau misalnya ada tim atau satu player yang berada di dekat mereka gitu. Kita lihat 28 detik lagi zona bakal menutup ke zona yang ke-9 ya. Apakah tim 2, tim IDM yang berhasil mendapatkan WWCD, apakah justru dari tim 19 yaitu dari tim Mikael ya. Mikael Tadika 178 FM sih, FM gitu. Dan juga dibandingnya mencoba untuk buka smoke-nya. Banyak sekali sudah ada sekitar 1 2 3 4 5 6 smoke yang sudah dilemparkan oleh dua tim ini untuk menuju ke arah safe zone. Tapi kita lihat sini sudah terpantau 2 playernya, dan dimana Bandina rupanya berhasil ditangkap oleh si Brangwa sangat-sangat baik sekali. Tapi kita lihat spider belasan dilakukan oleh si Brutal, tapi belum berhasil mendapat satu player dari tim 2 yaitu si keluar. Masih menyisakan darah yang cukup sedikit sekali. Kita lihat sini dari Brutal masih mencoba untuk melemparkan satu buah smoke. Kita lihat apakah dia tertag dengan spider dilakukan oleh Brutal. Rupanya sangat-sangat sakit sekali dan berhasil didapatkan oleh Brutal, tapi ada trap yang terjadi, ada cover fire yang dilakukan oleh kedua, dan yang mana winner chicken dinner berhasil didapatkan oleh tim 2, yaitu dari tim IDM Inotate dengan total poin kill yang cukup banyak sekali, ada sekitar 10 total poin kill, dan juga di set kedua ada dari tim 19 yaitu tim Mikael Tadika 178, dan juga dari tim 3 berhasil didapatkan oleh tim Zone Esports ya, dari tim 16 ya, dengan total 10 kill juga. Dan di set keempat hingga seterusnya bisa kalian saksikan di mana tim-tim kesayangan Anda berada. Oke teman-teman, jadi cukup sekian dulu dengan berakhirnya tadi match keempat atau last match tadi, berarti berakhir pula perjumpaan kita pada malam ini. Terima kasih buat semuanya yang udah ikut berpartisipasi pada malam hari ini, yang sudah nombol pula menekan tombol like ya, dan juga udah subscribe, dan juga udah nemenin kami di live chat ya. Walaupun terlihat garing gitu kan casternya, kenapa lah caster kayak gini gitu kan, cuman ya nggak apa-apa lah ya kan, kita namanya juga pelan-pelan belajar gitu kan, belajar agar lebih baik di kemudian harinya. Jadi kita ya, tapi kalian jangan kemana-mana dulu, jangan jangan pindah tempat dulu, masih tetap stay di sini karena sebentar lagi kami akan menampilkan ya overall atau final leaderboard yang ada pada turnamen PUBG Mobile Online Championship volume kelima pada malam hari ini, karena kalian bisa saksikan apakah tim-tim kesayangan Anda itu dapat juara apa enggak gitu kan, karena sebentar lagi kami akan menampilkan leaderboardnya. Tapi kami akan break terlebih dahulu, jadi sampai jumpa.
I've been up for 3 nights. My eyes are bloodshot red. Damn, I wanna see the sunshine. It's getting to my head. One look in the mirror, don't like what I find. I know that somewhere in there there's a good guy, but he runs away at midnight. I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my arms that don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Die before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. My siblings are perfect and I wish I were the same. Making bad decisions, it should be my middle name. I love playing with fire, it's my favorite. Watch it burn my whole house down, not feel a thing. One look in the mirror, don't like what I find. I know that somewhere in there there's a good guy, but he runs away at midnight. I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my arms that don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should This is what happens when I'm out of my medicine. There's collateral damage, I gotta go. I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my arms that don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Got before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Sitting at the same old workplace. What's the point of this chase? To just bite our old tail. Wishing that something would change, that we could turn back the page and live like our favorite fairy tales. So a love so free in a world of our fantasy, flying on dragons through sky-high cities. These are childhood dreams, it's how we used to be. When we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams. Oh, 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 oh. Our childhood dreams. Feeling, I feel so lightweight when I think back to those days, but then we went our own ways. I'm thinking about what needs to change, that we can turn back the page and live like our favorite fairy tales. So a love so free in a world of our fantasy, digging up treasures and sailing across the sea. These are childhood dreams, it's how we used to be. When we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams. Oh, 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 oh. Our childhood dreams. Our childhood dreams, it's how it used to be. When we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams.
Every weekend is the same. I'm the one you try to claim. Yeah, I already know about your game, but I'm not the one to sit around and be played. Call me up with no shame. All your words sound the same. Yeah, already know about your game, but I'm not the one to sit around and be played. If you come around just to play me, don't bother, cause you ain't overdue it. Don't even try to convince me. Don't bother, cause now I see you do. If you come around just to play me, ain't the one who hesitates. Yeah, I already know about your stupid games. Come around, come around. If you come around just to play me, don't bother, cause you ain't overdue. Don't even try to convince me. Don't bother, cause now I see you do. I want you to come over. I wish that you would come and give me something to prove. Won't you pull me closer? I think that I'm obsessed with everything that you do. I'm waiting, trying to be patient. You look like a painting. It's so frustrating. I hate it, yeah. I probably shouldn't say this. I probably should erase it. I probably shouldn't say this. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, call me a fan. I'm living, give me your hand. I'm in it, yeah. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do. We've been making magic, and sometimes I get nervous, but too good to believe. I don't know how it happened, but baby, I'm ecstatic that you're sticking with me. I'm waiting, trying to be patient. You look like a painting. It's so frustrating. I hate it, yeah. I probably shouldn't say this. I probably should erase it. I probably shouldn't say this. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, call me a fan. I'm living, give me your hand. I'm in it, yeah. I wanna be with you. If that's all that I could do. I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do, I wanna be with you. If that's the last thing that I could do.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want now. This ain't what you want. Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. Yeah, you
I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy, printed, can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted.
to me like, give it to me like, give it to me like, give it to me like.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent. us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it in a sense, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Never minded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be. Making emotion painful answers. Tell me, is this what you made me?
Oke semuanya, kembali lagi tentunya di channel kami ya, channel Faker RR tentunya. Tadi kita mohon maaf kalau ada keterlambatan sedikit saja. Mungkin jalur pesawatnya tadi kita tidak terlihat ya, maksudnya terlihat cuman tidak terspek gitu kan. Tentunya kita malam hari ini ada dari tour PUBG Mobile Fest Turnamen ya, tentunya dari DVNM ya. Sebagai penyelenggaranya tentunya ya, karena sangat-sangat aktif sekali dari DVNM ini. Sudah 3 hari berturut-turut kita dari pihak DVNM itu menyelenggarakan turnamen maksudnya. Oke baiklah, sudah banyak sekali tim yang sudah turun, maksudnya sudah seluruh tim yang bertanding pada match pertama ini sudah turun semua ke drop loadnya masing-masing. Kita lihat di bawah, di daerah bawahnya Pochinki ya, ada sekitar 2 tim yang cukup berdekatan, yaitu dari tim 15 dan tim 3. Tim 3 yaitu dari tim, bentar ya guys, masih apa ya, masih berbeda komplek, sekitar berapa meteran lah ke depan gitu kan. Sedangkan dari tim 15 sudah mendapatkan 1 poin kill tentunya di awal tadi. Mungkin dia menculik salah satu player yang ada dari tim 3 sepertinya ya, karena sangat-sangat berdekatan juga. Kita masih dengan si Donald ya, masih dengan Scar L-nya sudah mempunyai vest 2 helm 2, sangat-sangat mumpuni sekali ya. Tentunya dari tim 15 yaitu dari Good Hand yang bertemu dengan tim 3 yaitu dari Jong Indocam tentunya. Oh, rupanya di sini ada DK Galaxy ya. Dari semalam ya. Yang dimana DK Galaxy ini adalah ya teman-teman kami juga lah gitu, dari Kepulauan Riau, dari Batam tentunya ya. Kita lihat di sini dari tim 7 dan tim 4 sedang bertemu. Itu langsung spray dilakukan oleh Siang EXG, tapi belum mendapatkan satu knockdown yang ada di sini. Oh, rupanya dari si Sugiano langsung mencoba untuk spray dan menggunakan Uzi, tapi masih menghead posisinya dan membebaskan, dan ternyata berhasil dibalaskan oleh Uzi pula gitu, dan mendapatkan satu buah poin kill pertama dari tim 4 di sini. Dan dari tim sangat sayang sekali karena harus terculik satu buah playernya di awal-awal match pertama ini. Kita lihat di sini dari DK Senior Galaxy sudah menjaga sisi tangga dari school tentunya ya, karena mereka juga droploadnya di school gitu kan, di apartemen. Kita lihat di sini Senior sedang manja saja menggantikan senjatanya menggunakan M4. Kita lihat di sini kita lihat sudah banyak sekali hujan-hujan pemain dilontarkan oleh King J, si Sultan dari Batam ini ya. Masih dengan AKM-nya, waduh, nggak ada obeng ya. Di sisi lain juga ada si Pin LGN, salah satu player dari DK juga kalau tidak salah ya. Dari Yuri juga mengambil sisi luar dari school ya, mengambil. Oh, tapi hati-hati, ada bom yang dilontarkan dan terkena cukup sangat-sangat baik ya. Granat yang dilemparkan oleh salah satu pemain dari tim 7 terhadap si Yuri, sehingga harus terkena knockdown ya di arah luar broken wall, di luar schoolnya. Kita lihat harus berhati-hati sekali ya si Yuri, karena kita tahu di sini langsungnya spray dilakukan dari dalam school. Kita lihat di sini 2 melawan 2. Apa yang terjadi? Langsung saya turun ke bawah dan di DK sendiri harus terkena knockdown juga di sini menggunakan Scar L. Apa yang terjadi? Dua player aktif saja langsung spray dilakukan oleh si Pin, tapi belum mendapatkan satu player pun dari tim 7. Kita lihat di sini apa yang terjadi. Di sini masih 3 melawan 2 ya. Tersisa 2 player saja dari DK, dan satu playernya masih terkena dan belum bisa di revive sampai saat ini. Kita lihat di sini apa yang terjadi. King J, apakah yang harus dilakukan oleh si King J? Karena satu player yaitu si Pin masih terkunci, atau si Senior ya maksudnya, masih terkunci di arah bawahnya apartemen ya, karena masih dengan